So here it is, the latest money pit. Now if you missed the last video on the E24, I bought this as a barn find car which hadn't ran in, well, God knows how long. We went through pretty much everything, ignition coils, relays, crank sensors, and it actually turned out to be something that I didn't expect. The engine's ECU, which actually was only around 70 quid, so it wasn't too bad of a fix. BMWs, you can't kill them. But getting this car started is the very smallest of our worries with this thing. This 1989 635Csi is pretty much going to need a full restoration, which I've never done before. Now we've sort of got a rough understanding on what condition this car's in and what needs doing from it just from looking on the outside, but we won't know fully how good or bad this car is until we can get it up in the ramp and check all the underside. So I don't know whether I'm excited or slightly nervous about this, but before we get it into the unit, let's give this thing a wash down. Now we still don't have a fuel relay, so we're jumping the connection at the moment, but it works for now. We also don't have any coolant in there and no brakes at all. Only a handbrake to stop us, so we can't go far. Oh, there she goes. What a car. But we can go far enough to move it forward and hopefully get it inside the unit. But that's not before giving this thing a full wash down. This is definitely going to be one of the most satisfying cleans, getting years of dirt and moss off this car from where it sat in a barn left to rot for years and years. Me and Hannah are using all the MA detailing products which you can find in the description below, and this should be enough to get it looking nice and clean. Now, I bought this car as a long-term project, and something tells me it's definitely going to be a long-term project. Although I normally deal with crash-damaged cars, I can see that this one may need more work than a crash-damaged car. But it's come up pretty well for a half-an-hour scrub-up. But getting it clean is at the very bottom of our list at the moment. Well, this is probably the strangest combination of cars that I've ever had in my unit. Now, here's the thing. I've never worked on a car of this age before. I've never restored a car of this age before. The E46 M3 was actually the closest I've ever came to really restoring an old car, and that's actually just gone off for paint. So yes, this is going to be overwhelming to say the least, and I will make mistakes. I will do things in the wrong order. To be fair, I don't even know where to start. So this restoration is just me really giving it a go in an attempt to push my abilities to the next level. And with that said, I think we need to get this up in the air, check underneath the car, and then we can start stripping this thing and see how bad or how good it really is. So after getting the 6 Series in the air, first thing we notice, the front brakes are pretty seized on. We want to start by getting all the wheels off, and we're missing a locking wheel nut. So instead, I'm just going to whack a big torque set into that locking wheel nut to get it out. We won't be using them again. And with the front wheel removed, it actually wasn't as bad as I first thought. It looks like someone had replaced the discs and pads before this thing was taken off the road, and it looks like it's had fairly new flexi hoses for the brakes. And now moving on to the rear. There was a lot of rust, including this metal sort of mud guard, which I don't know who thought was a good idea. We're going to be removing and replacing all of the rusty parts on this car, so this is the first thing to come off. And it's the same story for the rear left and the front right wheel. At this point, I was starting to feel a little bit peckish, so I wandered over to the fridge to grab a Y-Food, who have sponsored today's video. Now, Y-Food is a meal replacement drink. It's not a protein shake, it's not a diet drink, it simply just replaces a meal. So if you find yourself going out at lunchtime and buying something that isn't quite healthy, then I suggest giving Y-Food a try. Inside one of these bottles, there is 26 vitamins and minerals. It's high in fiber, high in protein, it's lactose-free, it's gluten-free, and there's no added sugar. On top of that, there is loads of different flavors to choose from, so you can make sure you find your favorite flavor, and also there's even vegan-friendly options as well. And at the same time, you don't have to worry about harming the environment because this bottle is 100% recyclable. So if you like to try Y Food and use it as your healthy alternative, you can do by clicking the link in the description box below, where you can grab a taster pack to find your favourite flavour. And with help from this banner appearing underneath me right now, you're going to save yourself a nice bit of cash as well. Let's go see what the underneath of this 6 Series looks like. Okay, so it's pretty bad, but I don't know, we couldn't expect anything good. It's a 1989 car, and it's been kept in England. Okay, let's start from the front and then we'll work our way backwards. But if you're watching this and you're not from England, well, this is sort of what you expect on older cars. There is a lot of rust. There's one thing I have noticed as well. Here is the aircon compressor, and that's got no belt on it. So, well, it doesn't affect the car running, but they've obviously, maybe that snapped, so they've not replaced it. But again, it's not needed, but that's something that's going to come off and be replaced. There is one thing that I've noticed on the engine which could be quite worrying, but we'll get to that, But let's move further back down the chassis. And we have this gaping fella here, a huge rust hole, which all of this is just super soft. Screwdriver of truth. One hole. Oh! Okay, so it's gone, and then it's pretty solid where the anti-roll bar mounts. Hole there. Okay, it's gone this far down. That's pretty dead. And then we're pretty solid down there. So, yeah, all of this. And the worst thing about this is like the full chassis leg. So you can see it goes from here. It's like an actual kind of structural part which runs down here, along there, and then it's actually part of the chassis which all holds the engine in place. So this is going to need to be replaced almost as like a full block. I mean, it's sort of spot welded in the top here, you can see. And unfortunately, that's just the start of it. So right here is a few more holes. So this part here definitely can be fixed, but this is the carpet of the inside of the car. There's a lot of rust here. This is the bottom of the wing. The rust is just completely ate away at it. But again, wings are replaceable. And this part here that's all replaceable. That's a bolt on, bolt off part. It's like a mud guard. Behind there, it's not too bad, but yeah, a lot of rust there. Moving down to the sill, which you can see a fair amount of rust here, but sills, again, I know they can be replaced. So far, it's not looking too good for the front of the car. But let's move on down to the rear of the car and see what it's got to offer there. Okay, let's move back. Exhaust, obviously that is going to be replaced. There's no worries about that. It's a bolt on, bolt off part. On this side here, now I think we have found where the brake fluid is all leaking from, and that is all from these brake lines here, which again, it's fine. These can all be replaced. It's a fairly big job, but yes, it's very wet around this sort of section here, if you can see that. Moving back down, all around the back of the car, it's not actually so bad. This is actually split from the inner quarter to the outer quarter, so again, a lot of rust there. Jacking points and sills, they're all rusty. Moving back to the rear subframe, a lot of surface rust on the diff, a lot of surface rust on the suspension. There's just rust. There's rust everywhere. Now this is 100% going to be a build that we do out of love for the car rather than common sense. This is a lot of work and it could get worse. So here we have the bottom of the engine, and I've seen a lot worse looking engines in newer cars than this. It actually doesn't look pretty damp. I can't see too many drastic oil leaks. I mean, this probably had a leak at some point, again with this, but it's not soaking wet and oil is still actually in the car. So this part right here is called a core plug, and this is actually in the block of the engine. Now there's 6 core plugs in this block, and they're used to fill the gaps when they actually sand cast the block of the engine. Now if a car sat for a long time like this E24 has, and it's got water in the cooling system and no antifreeze, then after a while that water can freeze up during the winter time, and when water freezes it expands. Now if we didn't have the core plugs in the engine, because the waters expand, it would probably crack the block, and that would be an expensive repair. But those core plugs are sort of working as a safety feature. If that water freezes, those core plugs will pop out, and that's exactly what's happened here. Here is where it's supposed to be a core plug, but that has popped out. So we know that water has actually froze in this engine. Now the good news is that the core plug has popped out. But the bad news is we don't actually know if it's caused any other damage. That water freezing could have cracked the block somewhere that we don't even know. And if I took this engine out and started rebuilding it and there's a hairline crack in the block, there's a high chance I wouldn't notice whilst it's outside the car. And then I put the engine back in and begin to run it up to temperature, I'll find that it won't hold water and all my work would have gone to waste. So before I pull the engine out to start rebuilding it, I want to be 100% confident that the block is not cracked. And I think the best way of doing this is to get this engine watertight by connecting all the coolant hoses, ordering a new core plug and tapping that into the engine, and then seeing if this engine will run to temperature with no leaks coming out of the block. And if it does, then it's good news. But whilst I wait for the core plug, I started stripping more parts of the 6 Series. Okay, so here's the plan. The bumper's off, the bonnet's off, and it's not revealed anything that is too untoward or sinister, but we still need to get the wings off. And to get the wings off, we need to move the doors so they're fully open so I can access some bolts on the side here. So to do that, I'm going to pull this thing outside because I've just got a feeling that there's going to be a lot more rust coming off this car. Now, removing the wings was actually a little harder than I first thought. Yes, they are bolted to the car, but they were also bonded as well. So I had to split the seal between the wing and the chassis of the car. But once I've done that, it come free from the car. Well, now she really is starting to look really sorry for herself. But the good news is I haven't found much more rust. Well, there is a little bit, but not too bad. There's still obviously the bit at the bottom. There's nothing too much here. Look at all this seam sealer. I'm only guessing that this is what BMW do. It's literally everywhere. There's a lot of rust here, but the washer bottle sits on the other side. So I imagine if you overflowed the washer bottle or anything like that, water would just sit along here and it'd be quite damp. But this can all be repaired. This is pretty bad, but again, nothing too drastic. But yeah, I didn't expect the wing to be sort of seam sealed on. And well, I've pretty much written off this wing. It's completely rusty at the bottom. It's had a repair here. It's just not great. And the best thing about it, a wing for one of them, you think a 1989 6 Series, it can't be that bad. Try £495, and that's second hand. So I've still got to take that wing off, but before I do that, I actually want to flush the coolant system. There is a lot of rubbish that's inside there. The core plug is still missing on that side. We're waiting for that to be delivered, but when that is delivered, we can fill it full of coolant and then hopefully run this car to temperature with no issues. To flush the cooling system, I'm just going to disconnect the bottom hose off the radiator, which went really well. And I'm soaked. With the bottom hose disconnected, I can then open the expansion tank and begin to just spray water all through the cooling system in hopes just to get out any old rubbish that is in there. As well as the expansion tank, I'm going to disconnect some of the top hoses, spray water through there, and then I'm hoping that most of the rubbish will be cleared out, stopping anything getting caught up in the radiator when we finally run it to temperature. And with that done, I'll pull the BMW back into the workshop where I'd wait the night for the core plugs to arrive. So the core plugs have arrived from BMW, a set of 6, enough to do the full block of the engine. We only need to replace one though. Again, thanks for Sytner Leicester BMW for these. These were 24 quid for the full set, nice and cheap. If you want a discount on BMW parts, there's a link in the description. Let's get one of these installed in that hole and then hopefully run this engine up to temperature with no issues. Come on. So to access that core plug, it is right behind that engine mount. So first thing that's got to come off is the engine mount. If I was going to disconnect the engine mount, then it needs support from somewhere else. So here's my makeshift engine support. A couple of blocks of wood and a gearbox stand. Should do the job for now. Now, as I previously mentioned, putting in core plugs is done with the engine out of the car. So this is going to be slightly more difficult with the engine inside, but I'm sure we can do it. We've got to make sure that the area is nice and clean and free from any rust, else we'll never get that core plug to sit in right. And with that done, here's the core plug, and I'm not going in dry. I'm going to run some gasket sealer around the edge to help guide it in and also seal the edges. Then I've just got to knock the core plug into the block, which was fairly difficult in that tight space that I had, but we managed. And now I can fill the engine full of water. Okay, so this is going to be the decider. All the water, yes, the water is going to be drained out eventually, but that water is in just to test if this engine is watertight. We're going to be able to see, once it runs up to temperature, if there's any holes in the block. And if there is, then, well, we'll assess that when it comes to it. But so far, just actually sitting here, it's holding the water just fine. Let's run this thing up. I'm sure there's a way of bleeding the system somehow, but let's see how this thing goes. Come on, little 6 Series, you have got this. Here she goes. I hope I've actually got enough fuel in her to run her up to temperature as well. So far, so good. I couldn't see any water coming out of the engine, which is always good news. We've got all the fans going in the car at the minute. The temperature is rising up, and I think so far, so good. Come on. Oh, the horn doesn't work. Then it was just a waiting game. Well, I think it is good news. Check the temperature. We are at temperature. We've been there for about a couple of minutes now. And all of the coolant has stayed inside the hoses and, more importantly, inside that block. So it looks like we've got a good base to start with, so we can start stripping this thing apart, getting the engine out, rebuilding it, and you guys are going to see what I've got planned for this thing. We actually have somewhere semi-decent to start with. Yes, we've got all that rust, but this is not going to be a quick project. If you've enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.
Oh, fiberglass body shop.
Wait, the same fiberglass guy's been at it again on this side. Let's check the repair out. Let's check it. Yeah, man.